All right, so we're back with the impact of vision with leadership part 4 with Joseph Gantar with Gantar Enterprise. So basically, what's going to happen is we're going to have a very different conclusion to this because it's going to segue into our next series, and that's going to be a corporate vision and what that kind of looks like and how you're going to be able to roll with that. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump right into this. So, look above you and what does God expect of you? So, when you have a vision, is it actually going to proceed you? Is it going to actually continue to have the momentum that is going to take to actually allow you to push forward in such a way where it's like, you know what, I want to make a greater impact on earth or in my community or those around me to the extent that I want to make sure that they will have something in them when I'm gone. So it's not what I leave with them, it's what I leave in them. So Richard E. Day said, and I'm just going to summarize it: every golden era in human history proceeds from the devotion and righteous passion. It's a righteous passion, so of some single individual that they are very easy to pick out. So you look at people that have a very passionate vision that is driven within them, that is beyond them. So you got to look at something like, what is someone who is wanting to make an impact greater than them, but they are specifically going straight into your inner, heart in making that impact and making sure that, wow, like that was heartfelt, that was impressive, that was exactly what I needed. I was not expecting that here. That is when you are really able to see a single individual with a devoted, righteous passion. It's not saying that they're a righteous person. They're saying that they have a righteous passion. Big difference. Okay. So when a person knows their calling and they are moving in the calling, it is very easy to see that God is a part of the series of events that follow this person. You just notice that they have such a great charismatic, enthusiastic type of a persona of them that it is just captivating. It is just one of those things that they're just like, I don't know what it is, but I got to go to that concert. I got to go see that speaker. I got to see who is actually making and shaking things, who's making the changes, who is actually going to these. The best way to explain it is if you're able to get into some type of an environment where you're just like, this is where I belong, clear indication of this, exactly where it is. And then you just know how things were to follow suit after that. So it is it starts with the realization of God's gift to me is my potential. My gift back to God is what I do with this potential. So the thing is not like, okay, I got all this and I got all that. It doesn't matter what you have. It's what you do with what you have. Are you able to give back? Are you able to multiply that in greater multitudes to benefit others and not just yourself? Okay. So I believe that great leaders sense a higher calling, one that lifts them above themselves. Basically, what it comes down to is that when you see someone who has a calling, they don't look at themselves anymore. They're just like, how can I help you? How can I just make the world a better place or be more effective or productive or efficient in an area of specializing, whatever that niche might be, to better many. And when I say many, it is like they're going down in the history books because they really did a major impact there. Okay, so that's what that's all about. However, you got to look beside you. What resources do you actually have available to you? So when you're looking at all of this and you're trying to figure everything out, you're like, okay, so how does this work? How does that work? Why is this the way how it is? Well, very simple. Only way a vision is really able to, blossom or develop or even have a chance, the minimum requirement of this vision is it must be bigger than the person. So this can't be like, well, I'm going to achieve this because that's what I. It's got to be a movement for many. Okay, you have to be able to see past yourself and have a movement for many. So the accomplishment of the vision must be completely obvious that it could never be done by one person. You see, when you have something that is so great and so powerful, you're going to be able to very easily pick up on saying, you know what, that was definitely able to be done, but not by one person alone. And too many times, I know we see the simple visions happen, which is like, okay, so what is your plan for the next 3, 6, 9 months, or the 1 to 3 to 5 years from now? And you see these things come into fruition. Those are these simple visions, okay? But it is now getting very rare to see a major corporate shift when it comes to the culture because of one person having a vision. So it doesn't matter where you are in a corporation, to be honest, or a company. You can make a very, 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 very powerful impact on how this is supposed to look. So basically, how it all comes down into fruition is when one person has a vision, it doesn't matter where they are, and if they are able to affect those around them in a positive manner. Because here's the thing, if it is not positive and if it is negative, there's going to be restructuring and there's going to be some, let's just call it surgery, and there's going to be some cutting involved. Okay, that's just the simplest way how it could be put. But they very rarely need to be at the top. It is anyone's place to lead by example. That says it right there. It's literally anyone's place to actually take something and make something happen, to take it and make it work. It's just, are you willing to do it? If you're wanting to create something of significance, you are going to have to test the level of commitment of those around you. Well, how do you do that? The level of commitment around you is not going to come in the sunshine days, when it's easy, when it's time to have a good time. No. It's going to be in the most uncomfortable times. It's going to be in the most uncomfortable places. And you're going to have to be able to really, really use a discerning and understanding approach, be empathetic, because you can't really, the days are over of yelling and screaming and bashing. It actually gets you quite the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. So the best way to find out how far this vision is going to go is to see the depth of the commitment. So who's willing to put in the extra work? Who's willing to say, you know what, I know I'm not getting paid for this, but I just believe in this for whatever reason. I just got to make this happen. And that's how this is going to work. That's exactly how it's going to work. So a corporate ownership of a vision, well, it doesn't come overnight. And you got to be forward thinking, and you always got to be open minded. Just like this illustration or this picture here. You can't just think that it's just going to happen on its own and off you go. So a vision is a clear picture of what a leader sees in their group. A successful leader will actually see 3 levels. The first one, level 1, would be the perception, seeing what is now within the eye's reality. Okay, so this is kind of like, okay, we're going to be able to do this. This is how this is going to happen. Okay. The second will be probability, seeing what will be there with eyes of discernment. You got to be able to really pick things up and say, okay, if this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So it's the action reaction type of approach. Also, you have to be able to know when to do things in such a timing and tactfully as well. You can't just pull the trigger and go. And thirdly, possibility, seeing what can be with the eye of the vision. So basically, you're going to just go in and say, okay, is this actually going to go? And then when you're able to actually see that level 3, you know that it's actually going to have potentially enough momentum to get it off the ground beyond you. And I think that's the goal. When you hear multi-generational corporations, this family run for 3-4 generations, these are the level 3, leadership type of qualities that you want to seek from those types of companies and organizations, because they obviously have something that is greater than themselves that they also want to carry on forward to push on to the next generation so that it can actually be better than what it was, and it'll be the best it can be when it gets into those hands. So next week, ownership of a vision, and that's going to be a new series. This is where it's going to be very difficult because we're going to tap into those 3 levels that we just talked about, and it's going to be very, very, very difficult to just kind of say, okay, this is like not easy to do, but it'll probably be about a 3 or 4 part series. So we're going to be back 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, work hard, stay humble,